Yeah, another Saturday on Easter weekend, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, it's been a good week so far. It's been a pretty good weekend. Went to go see the new Mario Galaxy movie with my family, and we enjoyed it. We went all out. We got the 3D glasses. We sat in those it was almost like a haptic gaming chair, which was really cool. Like the chair moves as the movie's interacting with you, and it was pretty cool. It was a fun experience. Surprisingly, I did not get motion sickness because I thought that wearing those glasses, those 3D glasses for too long would just make my eyes kind of like, almost uneasy. But no, it was actually enjoyable, uh, it kind of adjusted as you go along with the movie, so your eyes get used to it. So it was a pretty fun movie. I would say. Obviously, I'm wearing some Bowser, Super Mario, Toad, you know, shirt, which is pretty fun. My daughter dressed up as Peach, and my wife put on my shirt, another gaming shirt. I think it was like a Nintendo, like old Nintendo shirt, like the Nintendo controller. So we were dressed up for the occasion and we enjoyed the movie. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, feel free. It's a pretty fun movie. If you played all the Mario games, there's plenty of Easter eggs to see. And it's just like nice action pack, a good storyline. Pretty fun. Pretty fun all throughout the entire experience. So I enjoyed it. You guys got to watch it. Mario Galaxy movie, or the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Always a, and I don't usually watch a lot of movies, but this was a fun movie to watch. So yeah, let's get into the bearded legend of the week. Today's bearded legend is Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo, a man of a wonderful white beard like this one. Let me zoom in on him. There we go. Victor Hugo. Pretty well-known guy. He's a little less modern, so I'm going to mention a little bit about him. He is pretty much a powerful beard icon of the 19th century. He represents creativity, resilience, and long-term impact. He also is balanced between literary genius. I gotta practice that word. Literary genius and political voice. So it's a good shift between his historical weight and his presence. I mean, clearly look at his beard. It's nice and filled out. I mean, it kind of looks a little like, well, this is more of a drawing. Let's go into this one picture. Here we go. This is more like his beard right here. More of a representation. Scrolling. Okay, here we go. So yeah, he's an author, and you guys have probably mentioned or even read his material. He's an author of Les Miserables. I just say Les Mis. It's that musical, but it was a transcribed musical from the original book, Les Mis, or Les. I want to say it correctly. Miserables. He's French, but so I'm French descent, but I can't even say it. Les Miserables. Les Miserables. Les Mis. See, that's why it's just much easier to say Les Mis. And the other book that he wrote is Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Hunchback of Notre Dame. So he's the author of those two books, Les Mis and Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he spent years in exile for his political views. Go figure, a guy with the beard has something to say. He's got some political views, and he gets in trouble for it, But he kept writing throughout that whole time while he was in exile for his political views. His beard became part of his image as a powerful public figure, which is, pretty profound and standard. I kind of like this one. This one is a good, good look. It was a good drawing. And yeah, so the perfect tie-in for this beard of um, Victor Hugo. Sorry, my computer's doing some weird things. Um, Time builds depth in work and in beards. So thank you, Victor Hugo, for your wonderful contribution. Even though you're from France, you're still a part of beard history. So I thank you for that. We all thank you for that, for your wonderful contributions to the legendary beard of the week. So I'm going to open it up to the chat right now. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. Happy Easter. Abdul, how you doing? Mad Ted, I have the same beard. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it got a little bit, you know, longer, and it's a little bit more filled out. You guys want to see as it's completely out? I'm gonna fluff up my beard for a second for you guys. There we go. Fluffing it up. Fluffing up the beard. Yeah, it's getting longer. This is like actually the third month that it just recently hit. 3 months of growing this 3-year beard. Yeah. Feels good. Sometimes you just gotta do this. You just gotta fluff it out a little bit. And yeah. Ah, that feels good. Anyways, I'm gonna continue with this fluffed up beard while I read the chat. Happy Easter, Andrew. Happy Easter. Oh, I thought you said that the same with Mad Ted. You have a question. What is your question, Mad? Mr. Mad, unknown, how you doing? Gordon shaves. Uh-oh. I wonder if you're a guy who shaves. How you doing? Thank you for joining in. Okay, you have a question, so let's hear your question, Mad Ted. I would love to see you bald again, buddy. Oh, yeah, Gordon shaves. Of course you would, because your name is Gordon Shaves. That was just like kind of a fun thing to do like the intro for this 3-year beard journey. But I don't know, I'll think about it. You know, maybe in the next, like as the first year mark hits, I might, you know, do that. But I'm still thinking about it. I'm still married, so I still have to kind of like, you know, appease my wife because, you know, obviously she's the one who's going to have to look at me for the first, you know, few months until my hair gets to be right here, which she prefers this type of length. She just prefers more hair on my head, not my beard. You know, she likes my beard. That's why she was like, you know, just go for it. Just don't make it look like, you know, I'm going to be married to a, like one of those Vikings, like Kronos or something. I don't know. If only I had a Kronos body, man, that would be like, you know, crazy. But Mad Ted asks, why do men have beards? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. It's just, that's actually a really good question. I really don't know. I think it's probably some type of genetic trait that like had some type of survival to it. And I don't know, but you know, you do bring up a good point. Why do men only grow beards, but women usually don't? But there are some cases where women do grow beards. I mean, obviously, you know, if you stuck around long enough, they'll probably tell you that they wax their you know, this right here, their stash. And you've seen a few bearded ladies, which is, you know, almost like an anomaly. But, you know, hey, it's happened before. But, you know, you leave it up to humans to not, you know, shave or groom themselves. They'll eventually start growing more, you know, arm hair, leg hair, pit hair, and everything. So it wouldn't surprise me if women kind of left alone their peach fuzz on their face, because when you look at it very closely, there is like some microscopic peach fuzz on every single person's skin, on their face, on their forehead. Just like, you know, it's very small, but like you can't even see it sometimes, but it's there. It's there. You look at, you zoom in on it and you'll start to see it like, whoa, women also have facial hair too. But yeah, we just don't see it because it's very tiny and it's almost like it disappears within the skin, because it's so small. But, leave it up to their, maintenance. And if they don't maintain it, you'll start to see more like a mustache on women, which is kind of like, you know, I don't prefer that, but I can see why women, wax their upper lip and, maybe even like, their peach fuzz and on their cheeks and stuff. But, it's just what, humans have developed over the years and over, centuries and centuries. I don't, even know exactly the progression of it, but hey, it's fun to be, it's fun to, think about it. It's fun to, hypothesize, which is pretty interesting. Thank you for mentioning that, Mad Ted. Um, and do we need them? Well, no, I mean, you don't need them because we live in a modern society. Technically, you don't need beards. But if you're in a very cold climate, why not? It just, helps put on a little bit more of that warmth, to your face. I'm assuming maybe that's why, like, humans and including men have grown beards because depending on the climate that they've lived in for centuries and so many millennia, that their bodies start to kind of acclimate to the weather conditions. That's why you mostly see in tropical places where they don't have that much hair, or maybe in like some places where it's really cold, like Russia. Russia's like got a lot of, hairy guys. Got a bunch of hairy men over there. But anyways, that's not a Russian accent, but you get what I mean. You only shave your head. Oh, cool. Well, for some reason, I don't mind shaving my head. It's just my head is probably not the best to, look at when it's shaved. You start to see there's almost like a cone piece, like, on the top of my head, which doesn't look very attractive. I understand that. Some people, just like me, for instance, I'm a good example of someone who can grow their beard, no patches at all, like, but, nice and filled up. And then there are some guys that just, have a really nice head, very good shape of head where they could just shave and then bam, they can, pull that off. But not me, unfortunately. The shaved head looks better than your hair. Well, that's I like your opinion, but I don't see it that way. I like it. I appreciate people who shave their heads who, actually look good. I don't look good when my head is shaved, honestly. But hey, it's to each his own. I prefer, some head of hair. My wife prefers head of hair. And, some people prefer, nice and clean, like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. Krillin. Everyone knows Krillin, right? If you don't, check it out. Dragon Ball Z, DBZ. Do men need beards? Yeah, I think I already mentioned that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Mad? Do you think we need beards, or do you think it's just, up until now? It's the modern age, we live in, such wonderful conditions where, most of the time we don't need to rely on, facial hair to survive and whatever. But honestly, I think like it's a little bit more deeper than that. I think facial hair kind of also determines the preference of, someone else. Like for instance, women. Some women love guys with beards. The longer the better. The bigger the bushier the better. But some women don't like women with men with beards. It's just a preference so far. So, I guess it could go both ways, right? It can go both ways. Sorry for asking loads of questions. No, yeah, no worries, Mad. I like it. I like, trying to answer questions, even though I'm probably not the most qualified to. I'm just a guy that grows a nice looking beard, and it's going to be looking even bigger and more bushier than ever in the coming months and even years. So I'm looking forward to that. And including, I don't know when my terminal length is going to stop growing, because after a certain point in time, depending on your genes, depending on, who you are, your beard can like either grow for a really long time, or it can stop growing for even a, short period of time. It really depends on the person's genes, I think. But, you know, I don't know my terminal length. I don't know when my hair is going to stop. I grew my beard for a year 10 years ago, and it just kept growing. So up until that 1 year mark, that's kind of when it went down here. So I don't know, maybe the second year is going to grow a little more. Maybe a year and a half it'll stop growing. So I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. Uh, all right. Where does it come from? I don't know. It comes from God. It just comes from genes. It comes from ancestors. It comes from, the place that your ancestors lived in. It comes from a lot of things, like the weather conditions. It comes from, the survival rates. It comes from the atmosphere. I mean, being at like 1,000 atmospheric level compared to the ocean level. I think those kind of can, play into your ancestors' genes and how beards play into that role. And, you know, I don't know, like for certain, because again, I'm not a beard scientist. You need a beard degree to be a beard scientist. No, I think if you just Google it a few times, which hopefully in the next few videos I'll be covering that, because randomly I just like to cover some facts about beards, information, and some little tidbits, some beard jokes, and all that fun stuff. So who knows? It might come up later in the posts in the next month or two. Who knows? But do you know what the world's longest beard? Yes, I do know the world's longest beard. I don't think it's this guy, although this is, from another thing, but there are some, like, world record beards. World's longest beard. So the world's longest beard was Hans Nielsen Langseth. Hans Nielsen Langseth. I'm not sure if it's this guy, but he kind of looks similar to him. I just don't see. I've never seen like an actual photo of this man that's posted on this cabinet. But yeah, literally, it's this guy. Let me pull him up. I'm gonna like save him for like the bearded legend, so I don't want to cover him too much. But yeah, Langseth has been recorded the longest beard at 17 feet 6 inches. 17 feet and 6 inches. That's pretty impressive. However, his past or his departure, in this life, was not a very interesting. Well, actually, I mean, if you think about it, it is kind of interesting, because his beard is kind of what killed him, because he ended up running from a fire, and he tripped on his own beard and he broke his neck. So I think that's the story, how the story goes. But yeah, ironically, it was his own beard that killed him. But yeah, that's why it's like kind of like, wow, if you really want the longest beard in the world, which I don't know how he got, that to, get so long, it's where he could just like start wrapping it around his neck and stuff. He made his own noose. He made his own beard noose. But back to Victor Hugo. Back to Victor Hugo. People like him usually like have beards, like philosophers, authors, poets, people like these men of stature, beards of stature, usually like have a similar correlation. I don't want to correlate that to all men who have great beards are usually these types of people. No, that's not the case. But there is a plethora of people, of men out there that have grown wonderful looking beards, and they've happened to had something, like a extreme talents, the philosophers, or poetry, or artistry, or even their political views. But yeah, I think there's something to it. But again, I can't determine that, because I don't want to correlate, the causality over like maybe a few, like, distinct bearded men that might be, you know, in this category, and then correlate that to all bearded men, because, you know, obviously not every bearded man is great. You know, it just means that like these people who have, you know, over time became so famous and so iconic in history that they just happen to be growing beards, which was, you know, pretty interesting to see. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? It could be anything, you know. A bald, hairless man could be also a great man too, an iconic man. But so far, I'm just covering bearded legends, so I don't want to disclude everyone. But you know, obviously, I'm just focusing on the bearded legends of history. But yeah, um, but yeah, you know, I've just been enjoying the weekend. Hopefully, you're enjoying yours. And are you guys going out to do your Easter Sunday? Are you going to church tomorrow? Or are you going to, you know, hide some eggs? You know, or are you gonna eat some chocolate bunnies? Who knows? But either way, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you for the next live next Saturday. I'll also be posting more videos probably today and tomorrow and every day, all day, every day. And then, yeah. But again, you guys have a wonderful Easter. I will see you next time, and take care. Keep on bearding on, guys.